Let's get this show on the road. All right. I believe we had a question over there. All right, from Karabo. Sir, I don't understand why we are crediting. Are we dealing with interest income or interest paid? Could you please show the debtors ledger one more time? No problem, no problem. So let me quickly show the debtors ledger. Okay, I'm guessing you want to do a screenshot. So I'm just going to give you a second or two there just to do that. Okay, I hope you've got it. Okay, I'm going to proceed now. All right, so Karabo there was asking, no problem, Koketo. Karabo there was asking, why are we crediting? All right, so again, let's quickly just read the transaction there before we go on. It says, the amount of 89,472.50 cents owing to Hollard Enterprises has been outstanding for some time now. Okay, received an account statement showing a debit entry for interest of 312.83 cents against our account. Okay, the interest is to be accounted for with the issue of journal voucher J11. Okay, so let's get some context here. Are we dealing with our creditor or debtor? All right, we're dealing with our creditor. So this can never be interest income because here our creditor would never be charging themselves interest income. They'd be charging us interest, all right? And on top of that, they're charging us interest for an amount owing that we haven't paid, okay? So we know that if they're then charging us interest, that means what we owe them, the balance that we owe them, all right, is going to increase, okay? And then finally, we know that our creditors control increases on the creditor side. And that's why we are then crediting this amount of 312.83 cents. Okay, don't be confused by the fact that they said debit entry for interest of 312.83 cents. That debit means that in our books, because yes, you are right in the fact that this is interest. I can just put that in brackets. Interest expense. Okay, and interest expense, we know all expenses. Let me pull out my pencil quickly. We know expenses increase on the debit side. Okay, so when we're then recording this interest expense, we're going to debit it. But here right now, we're in the creditor's ledger. Okay, all right, so we want to obviously record that increase in the creditor's ledger. Remember, for every debit, there's an equal and opposite credit. We haven't yet paid for this, okay? I hope that answers your question. Karabo, are you good? I think she may have logged off. Okay, maybe she's just having some technical issues, but that should answer her question. Right, let's proceed then to question 7.4. 7.4. Okay. Okay, 7.4 is not long either. Okay, that's all we have, just a few transactions there. Let's expand this here. Okay, so this should be faster, seeing that we now have some experience with this. Under the required, it says, use the above information and prepare the individual account of Brunton traders as it would appear in the books of Lavetica dealers from 1 January 2008 until 30 May 2008. Okay, so from January all the way until May. That's a good 5 months. Okay, Lavetica dealers entered into the following transactions with Brunton traders. All right, creditor number 10. During 2008, all amounts include VAT where applicable. Balance owing to Brunton traders on 1 January. Okay, so we have the balance, we plugged that in. Okay, the following subsequent transactions affecting Brunton traders account took place. Okay, so here we don't need to read through the transactions first and then label to who they belong, because we know all of these transactions pertain only to Brunton. So we can get straight to it in terms of as soon as we read a transaction, then obviously just record it. So here, first transaction on the 7th, it says Brunton traders charged us interest at 12% per annum. Okay, just want to quickly check something. Okay, cool. Charged us interest at 12% per annum for 30 days based on the overdue portion of 12,031 Rand 82 cents included in the balance of 115,240 Rand 75 cents as shown above. 2008 was a leap year, so 366 days must be used as a denominator for the interest calculation. Journal voucher JH28 was completed. Okay, so this is similar to the transaction that we did earlier. Remember again, Brunton traders, this is a creditor. All right, so here we're being charged interest on an amount that's overdue to us. So again, here we're simply going to write, oh, what's going on here? Why doesn't this thing want to? Okay, there we go. Thank you, kindly. Right, so journal voucher, and here they said JH28. Okay, again, we can write here interest expense. It's not necessary, but if we just want to be clear about what type of interest it is. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, and then next thing we want to know is, okay, cool. How then do we calculate the interest that is owed to them? Somebody then tell me there in the chat, how do we calculate the interest that is owed to them? Okay. I don't know if Naledi is... Okay, no problem. No worries. Thank you for letting us know, Musa. So somebody tell me, how then do we calculate the interest? Remember they said 12% per annum for 30 days, and the overdue amount or portion is 12,031 Rand, 82 cents. Okay, and remember, this is for a 366 day year because it's a leap year. So tell me, show me in the chat, how do we calculate this? You see, they can give you the amount, or sometimes you actually need to calculate it. So how do we calculate the interest? Okay. Any takers? Going once, going twice. Gone. Okay. So we said 12%. Okay, so we know that's the same thing, 12 divided by 100. Okay. Then we are saying for 30 days. Okay. But this is 30 divided by 366. Remember that? Because it's a leap year. And then how much was outstanding? So I think, let me do this. Because some calculators might misbehave and miscalculate things. So first, just calculate the stuff in the brackets. Okay, and then finally, we're saying times the outstanding portion, which is this 12,031. Is it 83 cents? 82. And somebody give me the answer. Somebody give me the answer. What amount do we get? What amount do we get? Please share with us there in the chat. What amount do we get? Come, guys. The sooner we finish this, the sooner I'll let you go. $118.35, 100% Karabo. Okay, we get 118.35. Okay, right. And now we ask ourselves, are we going to debit this or are we going to credit this? Take note, it's going to increase our creditors account because they're charging us. We now owe them more. So what are we going to do? Some of my students actually do this. They put a negative here and then they put a plus here. Okay. When they get into the creditors, and then for let me just take you back to 7.5. 7.5. I just want to go to the debtors. Here, what they do is they put a positive here, and then they put a negative here. Okay. I'm sure that might help somebody. Might not even be in this class. Might be somebody who's watching the video. So what are we saying? We're going to credit 100%. All right. Thank you. Whoa. So many. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Tino. Thank you, Lebohang. Thank you, Karabo. Thank you, Shinrika, TK, and Koketo. All right. All right. So we are going to, oh, there we go again. We're going to obviously credit that amount. So let's do that then. 118.35. Awesome. Next transaction happened on the 21st. And there, 21st of Jan, issued check number 100 to Brighton Traders for 115 in full settlement of the amount owing. JH31 was issued to the account for the discount. Okay. Can you see there, they're trying to let us know that there was a settlement discount. Firstly, they said the 115 was in full settlement. Then they go on to tell us that JH, can you see that? JH, in other words, journal voucher 31 was issued for the discount, but they're not telling you that it was a journal voucher. So they're not trying to make it obvious, and they're not telling you that this was a settlement discount. But through looking at the full settlement, you should know. Okay? So we have two transactions that we need to record here. First, the payment. So here we're going to write, what is this? Check number. What's the check number there? Check number 100. Check number 100. Okay, we put that in. Oh, I forgot to put folio. So this is obviously general journal. Okay, and now I don't know. So I don't think we can put the okay, we can put GJ1 since it happened in January. Okay, and then this, obviously, this is going to be your cash payment journal since we're writing out a check. And this happened in January, so you can put 1 there. Now, is this going to increase or decrease our account? This 115,000. Am I going to debit or credit? Somebody tell me there in the chat. Am I going to debit or credit? All right, thank you, Tino. We're going to debit. So 115. Okay, and we've adjusted our balance accordingly. Okay, but we also know that there was a settlement discount granted. Okay. Okay. So here they told us, they just told us JH something. So we know that's a journal voucher. So we can write that out, no problem. JH, I think it's 28, I'm not sure. I'll check now. JH 31. Okay, cool. All right, this is obviously journal, and that happened in January. So we say 1. Okay, and that was for the balance owing, which is this amount right here. Okay, again, we're going to debit that because it's decreasing our account. So that brings us to 0. But that's not all that we did with these guys during this month. On the 14th of April, it says purchased equipment on credit from Brunton Traders for 21,000 less 5% trade discount. Received their invoice number JJ957. Okay, so what we then do here is we're going to say invoice, and I believe it was JJ957. Okay. And since we are buying on credit, which journal is affected here? What are we going to write in the folio? Somebody tell me in the chat. We're buying on credit. What are we going to put in the folio? Okay, 2 comments. Yes, CJ1, 100%. Okay, we're going to put the CJ because we bought on credit. Okay. All right, so CJ. Okay. Are we debiting or crediting? Is our account increasing or decreasing as a result of this purchase? And remember, we have to actually calculate how much we actually paid, because remember they said 21,000, but less trade discount. Okay, 21. What was the trade discount? It was 5%. So what we want is the actual amount that we paid, which is then 95%. So times times 0.95. Okay, so what do we get? Somebody tell me in the chat. And are we, yes, TK, we're going to be crediting that amount. Thank you. And thank you, Shinrika. All right, so somebody tell me, what is the total? What is the amount that we're going to be crediting for? What is the, when we calculate this, what do we get? Okay, this is 4 because it's April, 4th month of the year. Okay. Thank you very much, Lebohang, Ntabiseng, and TK. I do believe that to be correct. All right, and paste. Okay. Okay, cool. 2 more transactions, almost done. On the 17th, it says request a rebate on invoice number JJ957 because the goods purchased were of inferior quality. Received credit note number NT14 from Brunton Traders. Okay, right. So now tell me, we received a credit note, so we can write that out. And which journal will this transaction be recorded in? We asked for a rebate, so they gave us a credit note, and that is NT14. Yes, I believe somebody is sharing with me in the chat which journal. Yes. Thank you very much, Shinrika. It is definitely the CAJ, Creditors Adjustment Journal. And that was also in April, so we're going to put a 4 there. Okay. Are we debiting or crediting this amount? Okay, remember we're calculating 10%. So we're saying 10% of the above invoice. They said it was invoice JJ957. So I'm just going to highlight that in green. So then they're saying 10% of that invoice, which was 19,950. Let's see if it will actually calculate within the application. Times 10%. Okay. Nope. Are we debiting or crediting? Yes, we are debiting. Thank you very much. All right, someone's on fire. Okay, so 10% of that should be 1995. Okay, and again, obviously that's reducing this credit note. Remember, it's reducing our what is owed to these creditors. Okay, so that's why we're debiting there. And obviously, can you see we reduced our balance? Okay, last transaction. Okay, transferred 5,000 to Brunton Traders account via EFT as a part payment on the account. Okay, we transferred, in other words, we paid them. Okay, so here you can just write EFT because they didn't give us a check number or anything to that effect. Okay, so you can write EFT there, and then which journal is this going to affect? This is money leaving us. Which journal is this going to affect? CPJ. Okay, 100% CPJ. So then we just write there CPJ, and that happened in May, which is the 5th month. Okay, and it's going to decrease our account. Okay, us paying them, it's going to decrease what we owe them. So we're putting this in the debit side as well. And then we have a balance that we still need to settle for 12,955. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, are there any questions? Thank you, TK. Thank you, Shinrika. Are there any questions? Someone might want to screenshot this, so let me just leave that there for a bit. Any thoughts? Okay. Usisio says nope. Okay. I will take that silence, all right, as confirmation that the rest of you feel the same. All right. So all that I'm going to ask you guys to do, exercise. Which exercise should I give you? I'm going to ask you guys to do 7.9 for homework. I want to ask you to, do 7.9 for homework. And then just go over 7.4 and 7.5. That's all that I ask you guys to do. I'm not going to give you anything more than that. Then the next time we meet, we will finish off the Unit 7, and we will probably go into the theory of Unit 8. Okay. Right. But before we conclude, sir, how do we know what code number to use? They will always give you the codes in the test or exam within the question. So the codes can change according to the question. They will give you, they'll say code 1 means this, code 2 means this, code 3 means that. So when you get a transaction that is in line with the description they've given for code 3 or code 5, you then write code 5. All right, does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up, Tino, if I've answered your question. Okay, moving on to the next. In the meantime, Lebohang, is it important to include the months in the folio? It shows your marker that you know your story. So it's not the end of the world. They'll probably still give you your marks if you obviously do the folio, but then just not put a 4 or a 3 or a 1. So yeah, it's not the end of the world if you don't use the months, but it's just a good look. It will impress your marker. All right. Then, Coqueto. Is this question the one that carries the most marks with regards to the test or exam? Definitely not. Definitely not. The question that carries the most marks is your journals. Your journals usually carry the most marks. Okay. Then, sir, do we always put the VAT inclusive amount in the ledgers? In the debtors? All right, awesome. Koketo, glad I answered your question. Lebohang, I also glad I answered your question. Give me a thumbs up if I have. Then Karabo, all right, awesome. Karabo, sir, do we always put VAT inclusive amounts in the ledgers? Nope, we don't always put VAT inclusive. It depends on which account we are dealing with. For instance, if I talk about trading inventory, you know that trading inventory is VAT exclusive. You know that equipment, provided we are allowed to claim input VAT, is VAT inclusive, is VAT exclusive as well. However, when it comes to your debtors and your creditors, have you seen in the journals for those accounts who are using the VAT inclusive? Again, here in the general ledger, in the individual debtors, we're using the VAT inclusive. So it depends on the account, okay? Doesn't depend on which book you are in. So we always ask ourselves the question, should this be inclusive of VAT or exclusive of VAT? For instance, also sales is another example where we are always using the VAT exclusive amount. So it's not about which book you're in, it's about what account are we looking at. I hope that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up, Karabo, if I've answered your question. You are more than welcome. Discipline C. All right, awesome stuff. Right. So guys, do enjoy the weekend. I will see you when I see you. And yeah, hopefully by mid next week or by the end of next week, you should have your marks on your assignments. All right. Otherwise, if you don't have any other questions or thoughts for me, you're more than welcome to depart.